the not-for-profit New York Yankees, but they are shopping this offseason. Don't you worry. The latest report from John Heyman about their goals this offseason in the outfield. He says right now they appear to view, ready for this, Kyle Tucker as the backup plan to Cody Bellinger rather than the other way around. So they are looking to try and bring Cody Bellinger back. They clearly liked him. He's a known commodity. There's defensive versatility, great athlete. Not that Tucker isn't, but they know what they're getting. Not to mention he's going to cost, I would say, significantly less. And if that doesn't work out, suddenly they will go after Kyle Tucker. To me, I actually think there is something to read into here. For example, Kratz, if the Yankees think these two players are pretty close, yeah, I think Bellinger would be a better value for them if they know him, they like him, and he's going to cost less.
Yeah, I don't see how you can bring the argument any other way, because except for the fact that some teams are enamored, and I don't think the Yankees need to be enamored with age. The fact that Tucker is 2 years younger than Bellinger, the fact that you would have a few more years of his quote prime, but the Yankees are always looking for like this year. What is he going to bring this year? And to me, there's less in free agency. There's so many question marks. Is he injury prone? Is he going to be able to handle this market? How does he fit into the clubhouse? All that stuff. It's already been answered for Bellinger. So yes, he would be a free agent, but no, you don't have those fears, or you don't have that trepidation of bringing somebody in that you're like, I'm not sure how he's going to fit, just because you don't know him. Nothing against Tucker. You just don't know him. You know how Bellinger's going to fit in and has fit into this clubhouse, and he is definitely a lot more versatile.
We're negotiating here for a free agent, right? So what do the Yankees want to do if they want to get the guy for cheaper? So what do they say? Oh, Kyle, we're not really, you don't really fit here. We're going to go Cody Bellinger. So, but if you take less and come here, we'll take you because you're not really our first. Come on, dude. And the Yankees aren't going to be profitable. Come on. The Yankees are so profitable because of Yes Network and because everywhere you go in the world. I've been all around the world. Guess what 2 hats you see more than any other hats? An LA and the New York Yankees hat. In every color, people that don't even know what baseball is are wearing a New York and a Dodgers hat. So don't give me that they're going to be profitable. But Hal, you're not George. Try to be like George, like we just talked about with Zack Britton. Go out. If you want Kyle Tucker, just go out and sign him because that's what George would do. By the way, it's been since 2009 since y'all won. Just saying, 2009. That is a lifetime for a Yankee fan.
AJ, are they a better team if they sign Tucker over Bellinger?
It depends. I think Kyle Tucker at the end of the day is a better player over the long haul of a contract that they're going to have to sign him to. And I think Tucker is a better player right now. But the question is health. If Kyle Tucker's healthy and he's engaged, absolutely they're a better team. But there's ifs with every free agent contract. There's ifs with Dylan Cease. There's ifs with Juan Soto. There's ifs with every person. Shohei. What if Shohei wasn't going to pitch? Remember we asked that question. He came back and pitched. There's ifs with every free agent contract. If you want the player, go get him. You're the Yankees.
But as the team is constructed right now, Kyle Tucker in right field, is there value there for the Yankees to move Aaron Judge, to take Kyle Tucker, who this year had a below average defensive year based on the numbers? He can have an above average, but he'll never be elite. You're putting him at a new position. Is
Kyle Tucker will never be elite in right field?
No. I didn't say. He's never been elite in right field.
Kyle Tucker?
Yeah. Does he have a Gold Glove?
He's been a finalist.
Based on the numbers, he's never been elite in right field. His best.
He was won a Gold Glove in 2022, so he's been pretty damn elite at some point.
The best numbers that he ever had defensively, he was a .4 WAR player in right field. That's his best. Okay. I'm sorry. 22 when he won his Gold Glove. It was a 1.1 WAR defensively in right field. So
Okay, is
to
that
me,
elite? Is that elite? I don't even know what that
Yeah.
means.
Wait, hold on.
yes,
Bring me in for a sec.
that's elite.
Yes, that one
That's
year
elite.
is.
So you just said
and
he's
I like
never
to
going
go
to be
on
elite, which
Statcast.
he's won a Gold Glove and he's elite. So I don't understand what the argument is here. He's
I'm in
younger.
between here. 2022, he was elite. 8 run value on outs above average for Statcast is elite. But since then, -4, 2, 0. So I see what Kratz is saying.
But he's also
Is he
been
an
hurt.
elite defender
The
right
last
now?
2 years he's been hurt. So you
Okay.
throw those out.
Okay.
But to me, yes. So you'd rather have Cody Bellinger in center field or first base than Kyle Tucker. I mean, does Kyle Tucker make you better? I mean, you're going to have Grisham, right? Grisham took the qualifying offer, so he's on the team. He's going to be your center fielder. Can you move Kyle Tucker to left and keep Judge in right? Or do you move Judge to left to maybe try to keep the old a little more healthy? I don't know. But I think Kyle Tucker makes him a better team, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree that
the
you should
question
get.
is how much of a difference is it? Yeah, because Bellinger's really good out there. The question is how much of a difference is it, right? If Kyle Tucker ends up getting, let's just throw random numbers out there, 400 million, and Bellinger ends up getting 200 million, I think the Yankees brass is like, yeah, we'll take Bellinger.
Okay, then that's their decision. It depends on also the length of the contract, right? So I mean, that's their decision. I get that part, but that wasn't the question to me. Was who's a better player? The better player is Kyle Tucker. If there's always ifs. If Cody Bellinger didn't hurt his shoulder that 1 year, he's won an MVP. So yeah, he's younger. Yes, I get all that, but there's so many ifs when it comes to free agency. At the end of the day, if you want the player, go fucking get him.
But I would say this statement of who, like, if you're putting, because every player has a value, and I don't think anybody's gonna deny the fact that Tucker is a better player than Bellinger, and he's younger, all that stuff. But the fit on the team, how it goes, anybody can get injured. I get all that stuff. I'm not bringing any of that up. It's more of, is he that much better for the extra money that you're going to pay, and how he fits on the team, where he's going to fit on the team, and what's that? Maybe he does go and play left field. Like, great, cool. But all of this saying this, if the Yankees are out, how much does that hurt his free agency? Kyle Tucker's free agency, because you need two to tango. They're not out. They're not out yet. But Cody Bellinger, at some point,
this is all negotiation. All negotiation. It's all negotiation. It's all negotiation. Hal Steinbrenner and the Yankees have probably told John Heyman, hey, put this out there so maybe he'll lower his price. We can get him cheaper, or make another team bid on him because they think we're out or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not out. Until I see someone else sign this guy, they're not out on him. This is all negotiation. This has been negotiating 101. Hey, let's throw it out there that we don't want the guy, so that everyone in the media thinks we don't want him, and boom, we get him. I mean, it's the way they do it. It's smart. It's smart. It's smart.
Yeah, there's just a big money difference between what these two players are going to end up getting.
Maybe not. We don't know that until they sign. Yeah. We don't know that. We don't. Maybe they can get Kyle Tucker to sign a 1-year deal to go to New York and have another great year and play healthy. Maybe they can get him. I don't know. We don't know until someone signs. We don't know. You weren't shaking your head about Pete Alonso like that last year. He signed a 1-year deal. Alex Bregman, 1-year deal. These are all guys that you didn't say, oh, no, that'll never happen. Guess what? They both had it happen to them. Kyle Tucker coming off 2 years of being injured. No. Maybe there's a 1-year, $45 million deal out there. And he's like, you know what? I can go rebuild my value in New York, where I can hit a ton of home runs because it's a short porch on both lines, and I can stay healthy. I don't know. We don't know until I see him sign. We don't know. Cody Bellinger did it. Hell, he did it twice with the Cubs.
That's true. Yeah, it's not crazy. It's happened before where we are shocked. And yes, sometimes they have, quote, insurance behind them where they're longer guarantees, but the opt-outs are very enticing. So they're most likely to play for a season, prove their value, and the opt-outs almost serve as insurance in case the player gets hurt or drastically underperforms. But anyway, it should be interesting. We'll keep following this, and maybe something will happen during the winter meetings where one of them signs, and then that creates a lot more leverage for the other player. You would think that Bellinger's going to wait it out in his camp for Kyle Tucker to sign first, and it's two different agencies, right? So you would think that will happen. Do you guys think that will happen, right? Because Tucker is technically rated higher by most front offices, of course. So do you think
not
that
if he gets
wait?
the deal he wants?
Right.
No, why?
Okay.
He gets the deal that he wants. If Boris, I'm pretty sure he's a Boris guy. If Boris gets a deal and Cody Bellinger's like, yeah, I want there, and I want to go back to the Yankees, and they're offering me a deal I want. Heck yeah, he'll sign. Because then here's the thing: if let's say the Yankees do sign Tucker, then Bellinger's like, man, I really wanted to go back there. Why didn't I just take the deal they offered me? So there's so many things that go into this. It's not. I wish it was plug and play, blah, 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 but it's not. It's not fantasy baseball. It's not rotisserie baseball like these call it. There's things in people's mind that have to happen.
Yep. Bellinger is Boris and Tucker is Excel.
KP, the website is chubbyshorts.com. The brand is Chubbies, but it's not just shorts.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the website's name. This is a one-stop shop for all things that I love. Swimming trunks, golf polos, and even flannels. It fits me perfectly. One-stop shop is the place to go.
Yes, sir. KP, I've been wearing their flannel overshirt. It's like my favorite flannel and your softest sweater having a little baby. It's the best of both worlds. Classic flannel look with the warmth of a fleece. And we know it's that time of year to pull that off. The Chubbies flannel overshirt. It feels like your favorite flannel, but with the warmth of a cozy sweater. And for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your purchase at Chubbies with the promo code FOUL at checkout. But if it's Black Friday, skip the code. Take advantage of an even bigger markdown during their exclusive Black Friday sale. Just head to chubbiesshorts.com and make sure to support the show by telling them that Foul Territory sent you.
I want to hear you elaborate on one of your tweets here, talking about this time of year. See, this is your tweet, so I'll read you your tweet. It's kind of like cannibalism, but Twitter. Seems to be this time of year again, hearing the chatter from team owners about payroll concerns, salary caps, no or low revenue. CBA expires next December. So talks like this will continue to pick up. That was you, Zack Britton, tweeting that out after I think Hal Steinbrenner made his comments about how the Yankees are not necessarily profitable.
What are you talking about? I was sitting at home. I was bored. What are you talking about? No, it's true because, as you know, I was on the subcommittee for the Players Association. It seemed about a year before we were really going to pick up our conversations, maybe slightly under a year. We were going to start picking up our conversations. There's always this, the narrative of, and this is kind of leading to, salary cap, right? So, Hal's on their labor policy committee. I've had these conversations, with Hal, in person, throughout my career with the Yankees. Sometimes it's just more about, and the players do this too, right? The fans just don't want to hear like that kind of stuff. They don't want to hear about like players wanting more money either, right? They're all like, everyone's making a ton of money. Like, we don't want to hear about this. But the revenue or low revenues, or, hey, we're not as profitable as you think we are, or, we have bills to pay kind of thing, always kind of leads to the negotiating table of, hey, man, we like, can you guys help us out here? We want this salary cap, or, it might not even be that kind of tone now. Like, I'm not at the table. It might be like, hey, either you give us a salary cap or we're going to lock you out. I don't know. But it's been the same chatter for a really, really long time. But I thought it was funny because this is about the time, about a year out, where the owners will start talking about that to the media and things like that. And our counter, I remember Max Scherzer actually like across the table one time was like, man, like, show us your books and like, we'll work with you. If you guys aren't making any money, like, that's not good for any of us. Right. Like, so like, can we see the books? And then like, maybe we'll work with you there. And then, no books.
Can we get the Players Association to fight back a little bit in the media? Is that just their thing? They just won't fight back, right? So then people come up to me. I'm sure they come up to you, people that know you're like, oh, is there going to be a work stoppage? And why is this? And why? And you're just like, I don't know. And they're like, but all I hear is that there has to be a salary cap. Can we get, and you were on the executive committee, can we get Andrew Miller, who and I know very well, and some of these guys to come out and stand up for themselves? Because there's issues, and the problem is that the fans only hear from Rob Manfred and Rob Manfred's people all the time, and they never get to hear from the PA. How do we improve that and make the PA come out and say, man, this happened and we're going to do this and we're going to fight this way? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, I think we did a better job the last go around. That was something that the 8 of us on the subcommittee, it was actually really frustrating at times to read stuff, from the media, and you knew it was just coming from the owners' side, and they didn't even take the time to ask the players. And I guess some of that was on us too, right? Like you got to be willing to engage the media. So a lot of the time was like, well, these guys are employed by MLB, so they're gonna spew that narrative. And we're like, well, it doesn't have to be. Like maybe we just build a relationship with these guys as well, and we share our side, and I think getting out in front of some of that stuff was better this last time, and it changed the narrative a little bit behind actually what we were looking to do, compared to what had been out there in the past. But yeah, I agree. Being able to talk with the fans and let them know what's actually going on from our perspective, the players' perspective at the time when I was on the committee, was important. It still is important for them to do that. I think you toe the line of the fans don't want to hear about millionaires arguing against billionaires, but the truth is the topics are much more interesting than just that. But yeah, I agree. And I think it's something they've done a better job, the union has, of addressing or speaking to the media and addressing, things out there that aren't true. But we'll see how it goes this go around and see if they've improved that anymore.
Hey, Zach, based on your combos in the past with Hal, do you sense that he's frustrated with the way that revenue sharing works? It's not that they're giving money to small market teams, and some of them clearly are using it. Others are not. I think that's very clear. We always look to a team like the Pirates, where there have been years where it's on record they made as much money on concessions and tickets to pay for player payroll, and that's before revenue sharing and TV money. So you're talking like hundreds of millions of dollars, and you don't know where it's going besides in a pocket. So do you feel like there's frustration there? Because I think the real fight that doesn't get covered often is the actual boardroom with all of the owners being like, hey guys, we're giving you all this money and you're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, we never had like a really in-depth conversations about that. I think he understands that it's part of doing business is the revenue sharing. So, my impression was that wasn't really something that was, at the forefront of his mind. I think that's the cost of doing business there, for the Yankees, understanding that they're going to be, at the top of that list and they're going to have to cut a check every single year. But Hal, the one thing about Hal is, I really appreciated the communication with him. We did communicate a lot, considering when I came from the Orioles and, I had never really seen ownership. I talked to John and Lou Angelos, but I never saw Peter. So being able to talk to Hal, especially when I was going through Tommy John surgery, I talked to him quite a bit, and he's very clear and open about how he thought, or even how he ran the organization. He was very willing to, anything you guys need, I'll provide it. So a lot of the fight, isn't necessarily with a guy like Hal. He wants the game to continue to operate and everyone to be profitable. He wants the Yankees to do well. He wants to invest back in the team. So there's a lot of other owners that I think kind of stand in the way of some progress happening, and Hal's not one of those guys.
Are the Yankees going to go out and spend this offseason? Because Hal keeps saying, I don't want to go over the luxury tax, and I want this and I want that. And the Yankee fans complain, well, you're not your dad, George. George just went out and bought. We didn't make the World Series for all these years. Is Hal going to go out and spend? Or is Hal waiting, like a lot of the owners that we keep hearing, we're going to wait and see what happens with the lockout situation? Because I think when the teams like the Yankees are good, it's good for the game. The teams that most people like, when big market teams are good, to me, it's good for the game. Like, even I'll throw Toronto in there. When Toronto's good, you saw the ratings this year. They were off the charts, right? And everyone's like, we love it when the Pirates or the Marlins make the World Series. But at the end of the day, people really tune in when it's Dodgers versus Yankees and Red Sox Yankees and whoever else you want to throw in there at the end. So was Hal going to go out and say, man, I'm sick of not winning? We have Cole coming back. We have Rodon. We have Fried. We're going to re-sign Bellinger. We're going to bring in Tucker. We're really going for it like my dad used to do, because I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think, I think they will. I think they'll go bring back some guys. They consistently spend, right? You can argue, are they spending on the right guys, right? And I think if there's something I've, heard and read from, even Steve Cohen. It's, hey, even if we spend the most money, it doesn't guarantee us a World Series. And you're like, well, absolutely, that's right. Whereas the Dodgers have just really done a good job of paying the right people, and they're paying a lot, but they're paying the right guys. So I think with the Yankees, I fully expect them to pay. They're always involved in the big guys, and I think they'll spend and they'll add somebody big, maybe a few this year, just like they always do. And I think you're right, absolutely. We need the Yankees back in the World Series, and you want them to win a World Series title. You want the Blue Jays, and you need the Dodgers, in the World Series. You want those clubs with those high payrolls and those big markets to be to win. But yeah, to answer your question, I fully expect, cash and then how to approve it, going out and getting some big guys. I wouldn't, just from past experience, I would have a hard time. It would be really frustrating too, as a former player, to see the Yankees not spend because they're worried about a lockout. And I can just think about, like the COVID season, right? And all the things, they lost revenue, and, players lost some of their salaries and things like that. And then going into the next free agency, people are like, oh, we lost money, so we don't want to spend the money. You heard some of that, I had an opt-out in my contract after that year, and that was some of the questions that were getting raised. We're like, man, teams lost revenue. Are they gonna spend on free agencies? It's a really bad time for free agents. I would have to go back and look at the numbers there to just see if it had some impact. I'm sure it did, but it'd be really frustrating for that to be the narrative, and a team like the Yankees not spend because they're worried about a lockout. Because ultimately, like, you're not going to pay the guys anyway, right? You're going to renegotiate the fact of, hey, man, we locked you guys out, or we didn't play X number of games, so I'm going to prorate your salary even further. I mean, that's going to be their angle. So I don't think these deals should have any impact. They should be going out and trying to get their team better, and then actually hoping that they don't have to deal with the lockout, and they can actually, work with the PA and get something done before, lockout even takes place. But that hasn't been the history lately.